Hello and welcome to Talking with Talent. Today, I am joined by the Fresh Prince of Kildare, self-proclaimed Mr. Greg Young. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good, good. I had to get that in there at a start as the icebreaker. Where does that come from? Why are you the Fresh Prince?
Uh, as you probably guessed, that's probably a joke on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But I remember because I'm from Leaslip in Kildare, and this isn't a very complex story, but there's a good comedy page on Facebook called Meanwhile in Ireland, and where they just basically post up comedy videos that are made by Irish people about stuff that's relating to Irish culture. We like pulling the mick out of ourselves. And there was once a video that went up called The Fresh Prince of Kildare, where it was just a bunch of Gardaí dressing up and they were like doing graffiti and just taking advantage of the law, I think it was. And I said, Fresh Prince of Kildare, that has a great ring to it. I am now that.
So, just stole that straight off.
Yeah, and
awesome.
I said straight up on the podcast where I first said I said clearly then it wasn't my joke, but I'm going to run it into the ground.
Absolutely, man. Claim it for yourself. Why not? Right then. So, to anyone that also doesn't know you or maybe follows you, you are an actor, songwriter, singer, filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
You're a man of many different talents. Is there a particular order you put that in?
A particular order. I put. I'd say they hold different kind of significances to my life, but I'd put my filmmaking and acting kind of first as the things I want to pursue most in a career. But music has stayed with me longer, and it's something that'll always be there. But I don't. I'm not sure if I really want to fully pursue the business aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Is it something that puts you off about the business side itself then compared to the acting, or?
I'd say to an extent, yes. I like the local scene of it more so, where you can just go up on a stage, like people in the community might know who you are. You play a few songs, you be honest about who you are and it's like a place of no judgment, and you can talk to people afterwards, maybe go with a drink with people afterwards, and that's kind of been the height of joy that's kind of brought me. So that's all I feel like I need from it right now.
Yeah, awesome.
But since lockdown settled in, I started writing more stuff, and it is stuff I've decided I want to release someday soon.
Nice.
So I'm not above kind of giving it a go. If you get me, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's always thing. It's nice to have the hobby and everything, and if it goes further, it goes further. But it's a nice attitude to have there, less pressure on yourself. I mean, is it sort of the themes of these songs that you've written? What are these? Are these inspired by sort of the lockdown, the feelings that you're going through at the moment, or is this sort of just something that's a bit more out there?
I'd say there's elements of kind of isolation. Sometimes like I'm generally I'm a shy person from time to time, and I think that's and it's something I've kind of explored kind of through stuff I've written before, even in some scripts I've written before. And when you're in a situation kind of that you wouldn't expect, like a lockdown, where you do feel a bit more isolated, even though I'm fortunate to live with my family. I think I think it pushed me to kind of like explore that kind of idea more, to kind of write about it a bit more as a more general theme. So, but I wouldn't say it's kind of overall inspired by that, because fortunately I do feel very connected to people. I have my family here, my brother and sister, my parents, and I stay in touch with my friends a lot. So even though I can't see them mostly, I don't I wouldn't say I miss them kind of too much. That sounds mean, but I feel like things could be going a lot worse.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. So you said there you were shy as well, and this is something that I speak to a lot of actors about, and and discussing the introverted extroverted sort of thing.
Mhm.
How do you feel that sort of being shy affects you as an actor and being on stage with theatre performances and when you're doing your performances singing as well?
Um, it's something I have to deal with kind of part by part. Um, in the past, when I kind of started practicing acting as a hobby, it was harder for me to get in front of people and do stuff. But now most of that fear has been alleviated.
Mhm.
Um, but whenever I am trying something new in any aspect, like when I started doing live sessions in Maynooth, when I started like trying to gig, um, and Anthony O'Reilly came as well to support. On my first gig night, I was very nervous. Uh, I'm not the nervous I've ever been, but I was decently nervous, and the next and that went pretty well for me. And then the next night, I went up, and I think I was a tiny bit nervous again, but not as much. And then the third and last time I went, kind of before it kind of shut down, it doesn't really work anymore. Um, I wasn't feeling nervous at all.
Mm.
So with time, like my first real short film role about 3 years ago was a short film called The Nutters, um, and I remember I was pretty nervous and pretty awkward on that set a lot of the time. But now most of the time, if I do go on set, I'm usually pretty confident in my own skin to kind of do my thing. Um, but when I do try new things like sound, the area of filmmaking that I'm just now kind of getting the hang of. On recent sound jobs I've had, have been very nervous doing that, even though in other roles I wouldn't feel quite the same way. So
Yeah.
with everything, I kind of need kind of due practice to kind of get a better handle of it, you know. So it
Mm.
takes time for me, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I can only speak from my own experience as well, but I
Mhm.
think as you build that confidence as well, and even if you are naturally a bit more introverted, getting in front of the camera, meeting new people, and that's the great thing about this industry: is you meet new people every day when you're working, um,
Absolutely.
and it really helps you. But there's also places for everyone in the industry as well. There's plenty of famous actors and actresses that aren't, massively loud or want
Mhm.
to do X, Y, Z. And it's great that people can overcome that, and it helps build your confidence as well, makes you feel great. So one
Exactly.
thing you did say there as well is obviously you talking about sound, and I've had a look through your resume and I've seen so many bits behind the scenes. You've worn a lot of hats. I've seen sound engineer, you got assistant director, producer, director, editor.
Mhm.
Is being behind the camera something you're looking to do more, or is it sort of just part of obviously the course you're on at the moment and just trying to learn different bits and bobs? Or
There's well, as you said there, there's certain hats that I've worn that I prefer more than others. Um, but I enjoy them as much as acting. Sometimes, sometimes I feel like I'll enjoy acting more than film work, and sometimes I feel like I'll enjoy film work more than acting. It just depends how I'm feeling on a certain day. And it's a silly way to be, but um, I feel like I enjoy both of them equally, I think.
is there at the moment a sort of a swing of what you would want to go forward on, or are you just trying to keep every avenue open and just push forward in general?
I think I'd like to keep every avenue open for now. I think
Absolutely.
simple answer. So,
Yeah. So you said that you obviously started acting, or you were doing first short films 3 years ago. When did the love for it and the passion start?
it started for me when I was in my third year of secondary school, so I was about 15, 16. I'm a big fan of the actor Liam Neeson, and there was one film I saw him in that it really inspired me. Um, ju- um, I'm trying to put the words together. There was one there's one performance of his in the film A Walk Among the Tombstones that in parts of it just they really moved me, even though he wasn't doing much for a lot of it. And I kind of thought to myself, I want to be able to kind of move people in that way. That's something I'd love to try. So I started practicing in the mirror, where I try and get my kind of expressions down. Where it sounds a bit kind of cold, but I wanted to say to myself, okay, if you're getting angry, what does that look like? To the fact where I can kind of cue it automatically, which definitely helped. And then my next year, when I was in transition year, we all did what's called in Ireland as the Gashga Awards, where you'll get written stuff for doing different activities around the community. And so I joined a performing arts academy for that in Selbridge, and so I tried that out, and it's mostly geared towards theatre. So I tried that, and from the first class, I knew I loved it. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So I know you're still doing a bit of theatre as well in last year and recent years. So is there, I mean, do you have a plan as to sort of transition from theatre to more screen work? Or are you, again, is it quite open, you love theatre equally?
I definitely don't give it as much time, because I stuck with that group of Performing Arts Academy for about 2 years, and then I gave it up for sixth year, because that was the more tense year where we have our leaving cert, which is our final exam before leaving school. So I had to leave it then, and I didn't get any opportunity to do it that year. But just this year just this year. In January, I meant to say, at the start of the year. I'm part of this this group in Wicklow that Bobby mentioned last time, No Wi-Fi, and I saw a post one day about needing a few extra people for a show in the Common Ground Theatre in Bray, and it was to raise awareness for mental health. And one of them texted me about it, and I said I'd be interested in doing it, and that it wasn't something I had I'd done in a long time, but going back to it, I remembered how much I really enjoyed it, and I realized then that there's a while I love acting in film and working in film, there's a different kind of satisfaction to when you've practiced for a theatre show, and then you do it, and then when it's finished, there's a very different kind of satisfaction. Then I'm sure you felt that yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
While everything else is very. I mean, you wouldn't do it if you didn't love it, but there's a different kind of feeling you get. So from that, I kind of decided that I do want to try it again sometime, but I don't know when yet. But see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you get that instant gratification, don't you? You know, when you've done a short or a film, and all of a sudden you're waiting 6 months, a year, 18 months to see the finished production. But on that night, when you get the applause from the audience, or you see someone, they say, tear up, or however, you've moved them in a way. I mean, on that point, is there a particular type of character that you enjoy playing? Do you not so much sort of typecast, but is there just an emotion you love to try and convey to people? Is there a way that you'd like to touch people in particular, or is it just anything involved in the story you're happy to be a part of?
That's a broad question. I'll try. I'll try and answer that as best I can. I think a few people have mentioned to me before that there's certain types of roles that I do get typecast for. Lots of them are very close to my personality. Where if I play the shy kind of introverted guy, or the supportive friend, the only sane man in comedy, as Bobby has called me, and I think that's kind of mostly where it leads off to. But I think some people know I have a certain joy for acting angry and acting like I lose my mind, and some people like to. I've worked that into a couple of roles as well, and people have now said to me, "Would do you shout in every movie you're in?" I said, "No, no, but it's fun when I do." So I've kind of I've explored those kind of avenues of try where Al Pacino, like, he got typecast as the guy who loses his mind all the time and starts ranting at people. So it's not exactly what I'd want to do, but it is fun. But I think when I have a good role that I do care about, I want to try and kind of shine through his human qualities and try and make him relatable to people, because when you are portraying roles like that, you do want to show the human factors in him to relate to certain types of people, and maybe you want to teach something with that. Maybe there's a certain message that the film's giving off, or a certain character is meant to give off by being there, and it's something that really interests me, and I always give it my best with that.
I think that's a really important point as well. Is there's so many films. I'm not going to name any particular films or say that they're bad or anything, but there's a lot of films where the angry person is always angry, or the upset person is always upset. But you forget that every human's a 3D. I always say it's a 2D versus a 3D performance. A 3D performance has a whole range of elements as a human. Serial killers to the shops and buy groceries, and they don't kill everyone they see, and they can be courteous. There's so many different examples, but I think that's a really great point of making these people real. What kind of characters excite you? If there was a type of character that you would just go, that's what I want to play straight away. Is there any particular person there?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think. I'm open to accepting all kinds of challenges come my way. If there's something I don't think I can do, I can. I'd even apply for it just to try my best and see how it works. Because I've often doubted myself in my own abilities, and then tried it, and then managing to do it, and then thinking, oh, that wasn't so hard. I can do this now. So if I was to, I think there's some kinds of characters that I would like to give a go, and if I've kind of thought about it, it's because I've seen them in a movie and then enjoyed a performance so much or gotten invested in it, and then thought to myself, I'd like to give something similar to that a go, but I can't name any off the top of my head right now.
No, that's fair enough, man. So like we spoke about, you started with doing a bit of theatre, you had seen quite a few shorts, and then in recent years you've done quite a few more feature films. Got Mr. Peterson, Undefeated, Ring of Rosie as well. Did you ever feel a difference going from sort of those shorts, those features, or did it feel just like a very progressive next step, and it was just the natural?
Well, they kind of, I'd say they happened in the same time span. Like Ring of Rosie was kind of in pre-production for I'd say it was 2.5 years from now anyway. So it was kind of a gradual thing over the years. Undefeated was a feature film by Robert Madden, who's a filmmaker I know from Dalgony, who's very talented, and that was over last summer. And I think it was more through friends that I got involved there, because he just needed a few people to stand in kind of here and there. So that I wouldn't say I had a big role in that, and it was necessarily a big leap. Mr. Peterson was it didn't feel as much of a big step, and it's because Mr. Peterson's kind of told in in a way where there's some characters that reappear and some that don't. Because it's about this town that reacts to the death of this old man in the community he's a bit grumpy and all that, and the police try and find out who murdered him. I know Bobby spoke about it. It was directed by Rania Phoenix, who's a fantastic director and very multi-talented. And I was in Mr. Pearson for one scene with this, and it was telling the story of this mom between his son, where the mom witnessed the murder from her window, but she's she stays at home all the time, and she's very paranoid. And my character, the son, he's very different to her. He's a bit of a smug kind of ladies' man, apparently, who goes out, and he comes back in the morning and he's like, "Oh, what are you so worried about?" And then she tries to tell him about the murder that she witnessed, and he just doesn't believe him or take him seriously or anything like that. And we wrapped that scene in a couple of hours, and it was a lot of fun. And but I suppose the way it was for me mentally, it still felt like a short film to me, because I kind of came and I had that play I mentioned earlier about the Common Ground Theatre Group for mental health. That was actually on the same night as when I shot my scene of Mr. Pearson. And so when we were finished shooting in Dublin, my scene with Rania, she lives in Wicklow herself, and she gave myself and the crew a lift back, and she dropped me off in Bray, kind of very close to the theatre. And I guess I was feeling more like a drifter than anything. So when I have done work on a few features, they haven't really felt as much of a step up, because if the way kind of films are made here, it all feels like a very cathartic experience to be on any set, and they don't feel too different to me, because behind it there's always people who have the same shared goal. And I'm not exactly sure what I'm trying to get at.
That's all right, man. That's all right. It's good to hear. It's good to hear you're having great experiences, and that it's sort of the family friendly environment and everything. It's very welcoming on set, it sounds. So you're at college at the moment. You've got a year left of college as well. What's the next step after that?
I have 2 years left.
Oh, 2 years, sorry.
Yeah. After that, I want to. Well, I'm not entirely decided at the moment, but when I am finished college, I do want to try work on some more ambitious projects and see where it leads me. From a filmmaker's perspective, as well as an acting perspective.
Very nice. And are you looking to sort of stay in the area as well? Because obviously you've got a great group of local actors and filmmakers and stuff. You sound like you've got a great community that are building some great stuff together. Are you looking to sort of try and build that further, or are you looking to sort of go to different areas, whether it's London or America, whatever it is, trying to pursue other ventures? Plan there yet? Or?
I definitely want to, when I do leave college, kind of still kind of, as you were saying, kind of build on the local scene that we do have. Like I live in Kildare personally, as we mentioned earlier, and I work a lot in Wicklow and Dublin. So it's like 3 different areas are very different. But there's a great, I'd say there's a great kind of local scene in each area. Like the people from No Wi-Fi have said that Bray is like a mini Hollywood in Ireland. And there's a lot of great artists I've met in Leixlip as well, and the Arts Council has really kind of put forward a lot of opportunities for people to kind of explore that kind of creativity, there's a great filmmakers group called Kildare Young Filmmakers, where I kind of got my start in learning about filmmaking in general. And I don't think I'd be here where I am if I didn't join that group. So Leixlip definitely has a lot of great things going for it, and of course Dublin, you get like people from all walks of life, as you know.
Yeah.
So I would definitely like to keep on kind of meeting new people and kind of build on what we do have. But I have thought about moving away in the future somewhere else. I've thought of America, I've thought of Canada, I've thought of England a few times, but I'm not entirely sure where and when. So I'd say right now I wouldn't have that fully planned. So I'll play it by ear.
Yeah, that's like saying, it's keeping your options open and just focusing on building yourself at the moment. That's great to hear, man.
Yeah.
So if people are interested in coming and seeing some of your stuff, what are you working on recently? Obviously, perhaps not at the moment as well. It's obviously a very peculiar time. But what are your most recent works that people could check out or get excited about?
Yeah. I have a few that I'm really excited about. Over this summer to Christmas period, I had worked with my friend Zach Gould on 2 short films, What I Stand For and Miles Away. And both of those were recently accepted to the Liftoff Global Sessions.
Oh, nice.
So I'm excited to see how that turns out. And What I Stand For is out on YouTube now. I think Miles Away will be soon. Other than that, I have a short film I wrapped on before, I think before the end of Christmas, called Scarlet.
Mhm.
I worked with that with my friend Sean Bryan, who's a great director, and it's about a vampire hunter. And I've watched back rough cuts of it, and I think it's because I worked on it as a producer and had a small acting part, and it's definitely one of the projects I'm most proud of being involved with.
Nice.
And I'd say I'm looking forward to Mr. Peterson being released as well, because I think that's it's a great dark comedy. The rest of it has a lot going for it. And even for the time we're in now, with while we're in lockdown, my friend Dean Houlihan has written a short film called Apocalypse Horizon, which is where he wants to film from home.
Oh,
And
nice.
I think he had written in a character for me to be a friend over a Skype call. So I feel like I can still, while I'm looking forward to stuff I've worked on before lockdown, I'll be looking forward to working on a few things kind of in this time, kind of utilizing the certain circumstances that we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, it sounds like you're keeping very busy. And what are the best channels for people to find you and follow your work and keep up to date?
All right. Well, I'm on Facebook as Greg Young, just my name. I'm on Instagram at greg.youngv, and I recently started a website, but I haven't made it. I haven't been able to put it on a Google search engine yet, so I don't think there's any point in me promoting that yet.
Well, let us know when it does come out. We
Yeah.
can put it in the description. I'll put all the links down below.
Yeah. And
So
lastly, I have a YouTube channel in my own name. So,
very actually, we'll chuck that in the description again as well.
thanks.
Now we do have a tribute as well. Greg is going to perform a song as well at the end. We'll just edit in that at the end. So thank you, Greg, for joining us today. It's been much appreciated. Had a great chat, and yeah, thank you very much. Take care of yourself.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
No problem, man. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys, and enjoy the song. Take care.
Thank you.
Alright, so to finish this off, I'll be performing my own original song called Right Here, and I hope you all enjoy. down to the edge of town. We can look down on the city lights. Don't wanna be left behind. Wasted hanging from the trees, all the love that I'll ever need. Just sing a song that makes you feel free. I'll say it all over again. My head comes back to the ground again. I need you here, and I swear it on my heart, 'cause you're right here with me from the start, my friend. I need you right here in this moment to the end. I remember years ago, when we first met, we were inseparable, electrified by your electric soul. Now we're here, invincible, racing fast down this tightrope we call life, living on the edge of the night. Say it all over again, and my head comes back to the ground again. I need you here, swear it on my heart, 'cause you're right here with me from the start, my friend. I need you right here in this moment till the end. Till the end. Mondays come too fast, some things will never last. Mondays come too fast, some things are made to last. Mondays come too fast, some things will never last. Mondays come too fast, some things are made to last. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to Talking with the Talents, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching.